Hello?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me good?
I can.
Wonderful. Well, good morning. It's actually a pleasure and honor to speak with you. I gather you're incredibly busy at the moment, so thank you very much. How is life treating you in the new year?
Oh, it's great. Wonderful.
Alright, look, the Grand Experiment is out in 6 days. It's been getting rave reviews from every publication under the sun, and it's about to get another. I'm not going to ask what it's about, that's for us to find out, but I'm very curious about the cover art. What's your take on it?
Oh, well, I had a completely different idea that we originally tried, which was kind of like, thought maybe it should look like some kind of old medicine show thing, the Grand Experiment. I don't know. And we tried some things like that, but it didn't really work and nobody liked it. And so Thomas Aberhart, the artist, he just came up with that and sent it to everybody. And we all went, huzzah, that's great. And it was pretty much, everybody's loved it. And my take on it is that guy's out in the middle of some really weird place making some really weird gadgetry.
Okay. Now look, this album was composed and recorded without any pre-studio preparation. If I'm not mistaken, you've never actually done this before. Was this, pardon me, experiment quite a daunting endeavor?
It was for me, I get nervous when, a lot is on the line, and you don't have very much time together because of everyone's schedules. And you feel like, you've got to come up with something really, really good. I mean, every album's like that, There's no album where you feel like, oh, it doesn't need to be good now.
Of course.
I've got to make every album as good as I can make it, But, having that feeling of like, wow, we don't have that much time. Are we really going to be able to pull this off? I had prayed about it a lot, so I had peace about it, but it would nevertheless, you can't take the experimental thing out of it. I mean, it was a grand experiment for sure.
Right, so you think maybe the pressure is sort of, I don't know, made it better in some way?
I don't know, and I think it's all about me personally. I think it's all about timing and God. Whether God blesses something or not.
Okay.
I felt like it was the right time for us to do this kind of an album, and I just felt like it was something that the Lord's blessing was in, and that's to me as a Christian, I give God all the credit and glory. In a more natural sense, I think it came out so good because this is just an amazing group of musicians, and this band is just ridiculous.
Yeah, look, Alive Again, yeah, it's a massive song. Yeah, it's your 26-minute prog monster. I've always wondered how you'd go about creating these pieces. Do you treat it like a small album and sort of weave everything together, as opposed to, I don't know, doing it all at once?
Well, it's kind of like a journey. When we're recording them, we start kind of at the beginning, and then, I think, we all agreed we liked the first theme, but then we weren't sure where to go, and Eric had a suggestion of, that sort of soaring guitar part that it goes into next. But then you have the question of, okay, we like this section, how do we join them together? There's quite a bit of that. But basically, it's like a journey. You're traveling along on the road, and you kind of go, I think it'd be good to turn left here, and so you turn left, and then it ends where you feel like it should end. It's really very instinctive.
Okay. Are playing 20 to 30-minute live songs daunting to take on in a live setting? They kind of sound like an invigorating challenge.
Oh yeah. It's going to be a great challenge to play all this stuff live, indeed.
Now look, prog as a genre was obviously huge in the 70s and 80s. As a prominent artist in the genre today, what's your take on shall we say, the modern prog scene?
It seems to be thriving, you know. I mean, for example, that Prog Nation cruise that Mike put together, you know, it seems like it was very well attended, and you know, when we play, you know, a lot of the turnouts are pretty good, and yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, I think there's a lot of it seems like there's a lot of good up and coming bands, and it seems like it's, you know, doing pretty well. But you know, I kind of live in my own world, and I don't have my finger on the pulse of the prog world, so to speak. So that's my take on it with my limited knowledge.
No, I completely see what you're saying. Look, your last album, Songs from November, was, well, quite a mellow release in comparison, but parts of the new album are actually rather heavy, almost metallic. Does it feel refreshing to release such varied albums after one another?
It's fun for me. I don't know how people take it.
Okay.
I really like to do different kinds of music, you know.
Of course.
Like I've had this month semi-free, and so I've been writing a piece for musical theater, but it's not proggy. It's like musical theater stuff, you know. And so for me, I kind of thrive on. I get bored doing the same kind of music all the time, so I kind of try to mix it up. And right now I'm writing. I'm also writing some music for a new worship album, and you know, I like collaborating with people. And for me, it's fun to do a singer-songwriter album and then do a real edgy album.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look,
I'm into it.
Speaking about your discography, you know, it's massive. You play in 3 well-known bands, your solo band and the 2 supergroups, Transatlantic and Flying Colors. For the new fan, how would you say you differentiate them?
Oh, well, Transatlantic would be a little more on the spacey side. You know, Transatlantic's real progressive, lots of epics, a little more spatial stuff, shall I say. And Flying Colors is, you know, also has its progressive elements, but it's a little more song-oriented.
Okay.
A little more straight ahead. And then my solo stuff, if you're talking about my prog solo albums, then it's, you know, proggy, and it's kind of a real mixed bag. There's some heavy stuff, and then there's some really, you know, a lot of pretty stuff. Some short songs, some epics. You know, my solo albums are pretty varied. And then there's my pop albums. You know, those are just singer-songwriter albums with, you know, short songs and quote-unquote normal music. So that's kind of how I break it down.
Okay. Now look, Mike Portnoy contributes his drumming prowess on quite a sizable chunk of your albums across a multitude of bands. How did you come to share such a massive discography with him?
Just naturally. I mean, it just kind of just happened, you know? I mean, it started because he contacted me when I was still in Spock's Beard in the 90s, and you know, basically wanted to do a side project with me. That's how it all started, you know. And then you know, we did the Transatlantic stuff, and then when I quit Spock's Beard, I remember praying about who to play drums on the Testimony album, and I just kept feeling like I should ask Mike. I didn't even know if he'd want to do it.
Okay.
You know, because it was such a in-your-face Christian album, really. And to my surprise, he's wanted to do all these different solo things with me, and you know, he's just the hardest working drummer in show business, man. I mean, he's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah, it's just been a natural flow.
Oh, very good. Speaking of which, going back to Sola Scriptura, it's regarded to be the most strongly influenced Christian album you've made. I mean, it is about Martin Luther, after all. Might you revisit that kind of subject matter on such a grand scale in the future?
Yeah, sure. You know, I mean, we'll see what the future holds. There may be a concept album or two still in the offing.
Okay. Oh, dates for the new tour were announced recently, and I see you're playing in your hometown of Nashville. Well, look, concerts are always special, but I guess playing in your hometown must be a truly memorable experience.
Oh yeah, it's great to play for, my friends and family and all that, and other people too. Of course, there's people come from far away actually sometimes. So yeah, I love playing here, but I love playing lots of different places. I mean, I've never had a bad gig in Paris, for example. So I'm somebody who loves music, and I love playing. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's pretty much always a pleasure to play for me. It's the traveling and all that kind of stuff that seems to get nastier every year. The airlines get worse every year. But other than that, the audiences are amazing.
Oh, very good. Well, as for countries that you've never played in, where do you see yourself playing in this year?
Where else do I see myself playing?
Yeah, countries that you've never played in before.
Well, I'm praying about that. I'm praying that the Lord will open some doors. We don't have anything. I don't have anything on the books to anywhere I haven't been before yet.
Okay.
So I'm hoping some, doors will open up and things will happen.
All right. Well, that actually wraps it up. Thank you very much for your time and good luck. Do you have any last words for the fans?
Yeah, I was wondering where you are.
I'm in New Zealand.
You're in New Zealand. Okay, yeah, I didn't recognize the 6'4". I was like, oh, wow, I don't recognize that country code.
Oh, yeah. We're a little bit, let's say, out of the world.
Yeah. Oh, man, I want to come there someday. I've never been there.
Very good.
I hear it's beautiful.
Yep, it sure is.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks. Nice talking with you.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
God bless you, man.
You too.